One of the hardest decisions I ever had to make in my entire life is to leave people behind, people that I cared about. Right. And so I'm going to try to push, I'm going to try to pull you up. But at some point, I'm going to give you all the tools for you to start pulling yourself up. And then it's your decision whether or not you want to come along for the ride or not.
When you hear something of value, take action on it, because you're going to hear a lot of value today. So just don't sit on it, put it to use. Clifton Muckenfuss is my brother. He's here. I've learned so much from you, man. You're such an example for me, man. You don't even know, man. We don't get to talk that often, but man, I watch you from a distance. I love the way you live your life. I love the way you lead by example. Honored to have you, bro. Thank you for being here, man.
Kevin, man, it's a pleasure to be on. And whoever, is on the receiving end of what we talk about today, I just pray that it will just impact their life so that they can become better. And I pray that the message, again, can then be taken to the marketplace, to their communities, to their homes, wherever it is that they want to take it, and truly just be a bright light, impact those that they come in contact with. But man, I'm excited to be here.
Oh man, tell us for those that don't know you, man, that might be listening, give us a little short bio, man, and tell us like who you are, what you're up to in life.
Absolutely. I won't bore everybody with all of the backstory with, the multiple arrests and all of that kind of stuff. I mean, it bears worth, touching on a moment, because those that do know me look at me now and think to themselves, damn, that dude's got it made, or that dude is successful, or, man, look at that. I want some of that. I want some of, what he's got going on. And so, I'm just here to tell you that it has not always been like this. Right. My overnight success story took 15 years, and we're talking about 15 years of scratching, clawing, grinding, hustling. And, there were times where I was living on food stamps, right? Cleaning toilets for a living, making $250 a week. And so, most people don't see that right now. But I want to encourage everyone that wherever they're at in their life or in their entrepreneurial journey, if they're business owners on this call or whoever watches this, you may not be where you want to be right now, but so long as you make the decision to move forward, make a commitment to never stop, create healthy habits, and create the discipline necessary, you too can get there. It just may not be overnight. Right. And so I want to just make sure that everybody understands that, my first sort of venture into business was, selling things that are illegal in every state. But that was in college. But my first true business was right after the mortgage industry blew up in 2008. The Great Recession, as they say. And so I had just moved my girlfriend at the time to a new area. And, I was working for this mortgage company. My grandmother passed away in July of that year. In August of that year, the mortgage company went out of business. I had a new girlfriend in that market that I just moved from sunny Florida, and we're living in Raleigh, North Carolina. And she looks at me and says, "What now?" And I'm like, shit, I have no idea what now, but let me figure something out. And so I figured out something that people hated to do. They hate to clean their homes and they hate to clean their businesses. And so I literally started a cleaning business from my apartment community clubhouse by creating some flyers on their computers and sending those out to businesses via fax machine. And so it got people interested, but not for the right reason, because what I didn't realize at the time is the flyer was all black and white. So all the ink was black. So the majority of this flyer was black. And so these business owners were calling me going like, "Hey man, I got your flyer, but damn, you wasted all the ink in my fax machine." But I started that business and going door to door and literally hanging flyers. And that's what I mentioned earlier about cleaning toilets and making $250 a week. But I stuck with that. And I really doubled down on what I'm good at. And that's really connecting with people, because I genuinely love people. I genuinely do care about people. And because the Lord never gave up on me throughout my journey of just self-sabotage, why in the hell would I ever, give up on anybody else? And so I was able to connect with people, and I grew a cleaning business to, about a $400,000 or $500,000 company. That's a lot of freaking toilets to clean, man. And so, we were growing that business, but I really wasn't passionate about that. I mean, not a lot of people I know, man, get up in the morning going, I can't wait to go clean a shitload of toilets today. Right? Nobody does that. I had a childhood best friend, Kevin, approach me in 2010 and say to me, hey man, we could go start this construction company. What do you think? I'm like, man, okay, yeah, I can make a bunch of money perhaps. I can stop cleaning toilets, all of this stuff. Now, the key point here is my wife was pregnant with our first son, and we were building a starter home. 2010, still at the tail end of that great recession, right? And I sat down with a Post-it note sized business plan at a brewery with two other dudes, and went through this business plan. We can do this, we can do this. I need $1,500 from each of you guys. I'm going to put in $1,500. My one buddy goes, man, you're fucking crazy. I'm like, sweet, go get another round. Hey, I need $1,750 from you. And so I started this business on $3,500. Why that's important, Kevin, is because I came home, pregnant wife, starter home, and I said, hey, I'm going to go start a construction company. And she says to me, I've never heard you mention the word construction ever in us dating. What do you mean? And, I'm like, baby, trust me, look at this business plan, right? She goes, what are you going to do? And I said, we're going to do siding. And, what do you know about siding? Nothing. What are you going to, what else are you going to do? Roofing, windows. How are you going to do this? And I'm like, I don't know, but I'm going to figure it out. And what she said to me next, I think is one of the most impactful things anybody had ever said to me at that time, up to that point. And she looked at me and she goes, I believe in you. And if you've ever had someone that you care deeply about, look at you square in the eyes and say, I believe in you, there's no other option at that point, man. It's like, oh, hell yeah. It's all on. And I'm never going to let this lady, regret what she said to me. And so started that company on $3,500, man. And within, 18 months, $1 million, we kept grinding, kept growing, kept pouring into people. And we grew that business to a multi 7-figure company. But that takes me to 2019. Right. So we grew that business. We continued to grow. But in 2019, I just knew that I was destined for something more, something bigger, something greater. I didn't really know what it was, but I could feel it. But my partner going into 2020, he was very comfortable. We talk about it in Apex. We talk about it oftentimes, when you get comfortable, you become complacent. And if you become complacent, you will ultimately die. And so he became comfortable. I had these aspirations to grow and continue to scale this business. And he just wasn't. He was cool making a couple $100,000. And I'm not minimizing a couple $100,000 to anybody on this call. Like a couple $100,000 is a lot of damn money. I can buy a lot of really cool shit. But if you really think that you deserve more or you can get more, and somebody's telling you, hey, I'm cool with this, there's this friction. And so that whole year in 2020, I was just kind of battling internally, like, man, I know I need something else. Well, in 2021, my son wrote me a letter, and he wrote me this letter, and it said, and I carry this letter around with me, but it said basically, Dad, I can remember when we used to throw football. I can remember when we used to play outside. I can remember when. But now that never happens. You can't even have time. You don't even have time to go outside and do your workouts. This is when COVID was, in full swing, and I was working out in my garage. And this was an 8.5-year-old kid that wrote this letter to me and put it on my desk at home. And I read this letter and I literally started weeping. And my wife, what's wrong with you? What's going on? And I read her this letter, and it was at that very moment, Kevin, that all of those thoughts and the feelings of I want more, I deserve more, coupled with this letter said, yeah, I'm going to get more, but I'm going to get more for them, not just for me. And so it was at that moment that I really sat down and sort of mapped out what I wanted my ideal life to look like, what I wanted my ideal relationships to look like. And I started to, visualize things that I wanted. Some of them materialistic, but others about relationships, like serving others, right? I joined Apex. I got introduced to you. I started pouring into other people, other business owners. And that's really where my passion kind of, help reveal my purpose, really, which is to pour into men and women, business owners, and help them become better husbands, better wives, better fathers, better mothers, better brothers, better sisters, better role models, frankly, better humans. And through that process, helping them own a business and not own a job. And so I launched a coaching company. Then I got hooked up with Mike Claudio. And man, it's just been a crazy ride. Over the last couple years, I've checked a lot of boxes on those the dream boards and vision boards and all of that. I mean, I had the pleasure of buying a 45-foot catamaran and moving to the islands and living on that boat, all while coaching business owners. I'm now the director of coaching at Winrate Consulting. And man, that's just that's basically the last 15 years kind of wrapped up into about 14 minutes.
I love what you said, and I wanted to go here a few minutes, man, about the growing part of it and where you are with when you start your company and you don't have anything, you got to stay with it and just keep going. Because I was on Marshall Gillen's podcast Monday, I think, and we were talking about that. And what I said was, when I was in my 1-bedroom apartment and I got my first client, I was so happy. And it was so awesome, man. And I was in this empty apartment, didn't have anything, was just getting started. And then now, it's going really good. The business is growing, man. I'm doing some good things in life, and my life is totally different. It's all growing. I still have problems today. I still have a lot of problems. Like, I have nights I don't sleep. I have days I don't feel good. I have days when I'm so stressed I could, pull my hair out if I had any. So, I have all that. So it's not, that was just as cool when I was getting that one client as my life is today. And so I really wanted to lay into that a little bit and get your thoughts, dive into that further, because there's people out there that are in that beginning phase right now, and they're frustrated because they can't get to the end. And I want to lay into them and say, it's about growth. It's about the journey. And I want to get your thoughts on that, man.
Yeah,
as a
man.
multi-million-dollar coach.
Yeah. So let me just, I'm going to share something with you right now in your audience that they probably have never heard before. Maybe they have, but I wrote down, you just mentioned their problems, right? There's problems that we face, obstacles. Man, I look at problems as opportunities. Okay. And so every day when I'm praying, when I pray to the Lord, which I am deeply faithful of, but when I pray to the Lord, one of the things that I pray for, Kevin, this is the distinction, which I think people may not have ever heard. I pray for problems and obstacles. People may be going, what in the heck is wrong with that guy? What are you praying for obstacles and problems and challenges? Because here's the reality. I know that every single obstacle, every single setback provides me an opportunity to grow, provides me an opportunity to learn. But beyond that, and more importantly, it allows me an opportunity to deepen my relationship, faith, and trust in God. I do it every day. And I also pray for the wins, because the wins also allow me to celebrate His goodness. And so I just wanted to start with that, right? Because it's a mindset, man. It really is, because there's a lot of negativity in the world. I haven't watched the news and going on, I don't know, since Dr. Burke was the head of the CDC or whatever the hell. When we're talking about masks, that was like probably been 2.5 years ago, 3 years ago since I've watched the news. There's a lot of negativity out there. Every single one of us has a choice. No matter what comes at us, we can choose to see the blessing or we can focus on the curse. I focus on the blessing. What's life trying to teach me right now? Lord, what you trying to teach me right now? I'm going to embrace it. Okay, I'm cool. So that I wanted to start with that. Right? Don't view problems as problems. View problems as opportunities to learn something, grow, get better. Right? But you also asked about, business owners or people just kind of getting started in their journey. And, probably the best piece of advice I can give someone who's just getting started. Ask yourself, what is it that you do best? Right? What is it that you do best? Here's what I do best. I connect with people. I help them get comfortable enough to reveal pain. I take a solution, provide pain relief, everybody wins. And then we celebrate together. That's what I'm good at. That's what I do right now for a living. Right? That's what I did in the construction company. What was I good at? I was good at connecting people, uncovering pain, uncovering problems, and providing pain relief. And so anybody out there right now who is just getting started, what are you good at? What do people tell you you're good at? What are you passionate about? What sets you on fire? Right? I'm looking at 3B Credit Health, right? And Kevin, the process of maybe removing things from credit might not be what you're passionate about, but what you're passionate about is helping people transform their lives through improving their credit so that they can then go live the life that they want. Right?
Absolutely.
And so that's what everybody needs to figure out. Why? What you're good at, and then why do you do it every day? To go deeper, what do you want to be known for? What do you want your legacy to be? Because we're all going to die. That's a fact. 2 days, the day you were born and the day you die. Guess what? Everybody's got a decision what happens between those 2 dates. And so again, what do you do best? And you also mentioned about, networking groups, Apex as an example. I'm gonna let you know that, and everybody's heard, you are the sum total of the 5 people you spend the most time with. All right. So I want you to look around at the people, do an audit. Look around at the people that you're always hanging out with. What do they look like? I'm not talking about race, color, religion, none of that. What are their behaviors? What are their habits? Do they get fucked up every day? Are they successful? Are they just getting by? What is it? Look around, do that audit. And if you don't like what you see because it's stirring something up inside of you, you got to make a change. One of the hardest decisions I ever had to make in my entire life is to leave people behind. People that I cared about. Right? And so I'm gonna try to pull you up. But at some point, I'm gonna give you all the tools for you to start pulling yourself up. And then it's your decision whether or not you want to come along for the ride or not. There are people that doubted me so many times, and man, I just say thank you. Because those are the people that fueled me. Right? And so, but do that audit. Look around. If you don't like what you see, Apex has got some killers in it. There's other networking groups. Maybe Apex isn't for you. Maybe it is. Have a conversation. Right? You're one conversation away from a dramatically different life. It might be what you hear on this call today is what you needed to hear. And if it is, amazing. But seek out areas, people to get around that are where you want to be. Because there's one thing for sure, you can never get to where you want to be by remaining who you are now. Right? So again, problems are opportunities. what you're good at, do your audit, who you surround yourself with. You know, in champion, the A stands for association, who you're associated with. All affects whether or not you're going to be a champion or not.
Yeah, that's good stuff, man. I would say one thing to look at that. Keep coming on that picture of Kelly.
Yeah.
You see
Hey,
that?
you know, that's a sign right there, brother. She
Yeah,
just
that's
reminded
what
you.
I
Hey,
was thinking. That's what
yes,
I was thinking.
absolutely.
Another, like, a way to test that theory is, if somebody doesn't understand, if you run it by somebody, to get what you want, you have to become what you want. So you have to take those habits on. And so if somebody doesn't understand that, if you say that to somebody and it's just blank, man, in my experience, that ain't really who I want to be around. That's just me, man.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And here's the other thing on the other side of that. And when you start to tell people your goals and your dreams and your aspirations, and they look at you like, that dude's fucking crazy. Absolutely, man. Or how about this? Nah, that'll never work. Nah, nobody will ever buy that. Nobody will ever do that. Don't get frustrated, people. Don't get frustrated. Get motivated. Because here's the reality. When people respond like that, generally, not always, generally, that means you're onto something good.
Yeah.
Yeah. The reason why people respond like that is because you having big dreams and goals and aspirations reminds them that they gave up on theirs.
Amen right there, brother. Yeah. See it. You just nailed it with that. I mean, because that's so true, man. What they'll do is they'll shit on your dream. They'll shit on you about it. There's a meme. The first day they'll tell you you're crazy and it'll never work. Then, like 30 days later, or maybe 90 days later, they'll tell you, they'll look at it kind of, this is never going to work. He's got some momentum, but this will never work. Basically 3 years down the road, 1,000 days later, they're like, will you teach that to me?
Absolutely.
And then they're like, they quit and give up. And they're like, oh, you just got lucky.
Yes.
Exactly how it happens too.
Absolutely. Or how about the that'll never work. Man, well, okay. Well, I see he's got a little bit of momentum there, making a little bit of success. I mean, and then you blow up, right? Overnight success story, 15 years. Then they're like, I've known that dude forever. That's my homie. Right. That's happened too. It's all good, man. What if they want to, if people, again, I used to care so much about what other people thought. So much so that it literally like crippled me. It caused me to have, really, really self-sabotage. You mentioned earlier, habits. There's some habits you're going to have to give up if you really want to go to that next level. Right. I know you've done 75 hard a couple of times and other things like that, but you got to develop those healthy habits. And, I'm going to say this, everybody I believe is destined for success. God made you and me and everyone else that's listening and watching this call to be successful. Our timelines are different. And you know what? Until we get rid of the bad habits, the things that are holding us back, that could be also people, until we get rid of those and release ourselves from that bondage, we're not going to get the true success that we deserve. But as soon as we do release ourselves from that stuff and those people, that is when we will have the success that God has intended for us all along. I am living proof of that. Man, you and I have talked before, and all my clients can attest to this. I do not coach and teach on theory. I coach and teach on experience. I live by the example I set. I set the example for others. And so again, whenever you release yourself from the negative thoughts, from the bad habits, a bad habit's negative thinking, right? So as soon as you release yourself from the imprisonment of those bad habits, then the opportunities that you need to achieve that success that God has in store for your life starts to happen.
Yeah, and you said the word, I can't remember the way you used the word bondage a second ago, or in
Yep.
context, I believe, to the people you're around, if you're around the wrong people,
Yeah.
and it becomes a bondage. And that also applies to like letting the negative things into your mind,
Mhm.
like the news, anything that's like alcohol, for example, these people that go out and just get drunk and stuff like, and all the stuff that they bring into their life, all this stuff, that's some of the habits that you're talking, I believe you're talking about, is where you're killing yourself by not only negative energy and being around people that aren't moving the ball forward, but it's the things it does to your body. Like you wake up the next day and you feel like crap. So it sets you aside. You need, if you're going to build greatness, if you're going to build something awesome, you need every bit. And I know you guys teach this.
Mm.
I know you guys teach this at WinRate. You need every bit of equity you can get your hands on. And we ain't talking about money.
No, you're exactly right, Kevin. I'm gonna share something with, again, people see me today. What they don't know is I used to be 235 pounds, bro. Like fat, just unhealthy, got high every day, just got fucked up all the time, right? My wife, I love her to death. Marianne sends me photos occasionally, man, pretty frequently. I just made a post on social media about this this past weekend. She sends me these pictures from like, 3-4 years ago. And I'm like, got this fucking gut and I just, look unhealthy. And I'm like, baby, I appreciate the motivation. But the reason why that's important, and I share that with you, is because I had to make a decision. I made a decision on December 23rd of 2018 that health was going to be at the center of my life. It was going to be a pillar of my life, because when I developed and created my why, which is the 4 most special people in my life, my wife, Marianne, my son, Chase, my son, Cody, my daughter, Cameron, while also serving God, I had to maintain health if they were truly what was important to me. And so on December 23rd, 2018, Kevin, I made a commitment that I was going to live a healthy lifestyle. I have tracked every single thing through MyFitnessPal that I've put in my body since December 23rd, 2018. People watching this are probably like, man, that's crazy. Yeah, how bad do you want what you want? Sometimes, yeah, you have to get a little bit obsessive. I've done that. I still drink bourbon, not right this minute, but I did. I love a good whiskey. Hell, my Instagram handles boats and bourbon. Right? But guess what? I've doubled down on that, because one of my goals in 2023 is to get in single digit body fat. Made a commitment. Started with a decision. Now I've made a commitment. So on January 1st was the last time I've had a sip of alcohol. All right. Again, we talk about these healthy habits. Yeah, it's exercise, it's fitness. It's your mind, reading, absorbing podcasts, audiobooks, prayer, meditation, all of that stuff. And so I replaced all the bad habits with good habits. I mean, I take people through a habit exercise where we're like, hey, list all your good habits. Why are those habits important to you? Now list all your bad habits. Why are they important to you? Usually it's like, my bad habits are drinking. Why is that important to you? Well, it allows me to hang out with my buddies. Fuck that. They're not your buddies if they don't want to hang out with you unless you're drinking.
In
Right?
my life, yeah.
So whenever you go through that and you take a bad habit and you're like, all right, cool. So now I've got my list of bad habits. I'm going to replace this bad habit with an equally good habit. And then we just work down from there, man. Because once you develop that championship routine, that championship day, and after like 30 days, it gets easier. 60 days, 90 days. Now, man, again, I'm going on 4.5 years of literally tracking food and I mean, well, guess what? I'm in great fucking shape. I believe for 45 years old, almost 46. Right? Because guess what? I don't want to pay the doctors in the medical system hundreds of thousands of dollars because I am unhealthy. No, I want to take care of this. The Bible tells me this is the Lord's as well. I got to take care of this so that the healthier I am, the more I can go serve. I can't serve if I'm laid up sick all the time. So.
And the more I learn about the body, man, circadian rhythm and there's we could go, that's a whole nother thing. We could go deep into this stuff, but I'll just say this. It all affects your mind, man. It's what you eat, what you take in, all of this stuff. So if we're talking about equity and really getting to that level, and you deal with people running multi-million-dollar businesses, that's what you do for a living. You coach those people on how to grow their businesses and get the most out of their businesses. And you deal with those people. And to be one of those people that has a multi-million-dollar business, you've got to take this stuff into consideration big time and apply it to your life, because it ain't just about spreadsheets. It ain't just about going in the room and running your team. It's about being high octane on what's inside of your brain.
Yes, absolutely, man. I mean, and here's the thing. A business is generally a snapshot of the owner, right? And so one of the first things that we can do, or we do with clients is, I mean, what do you want? What do you want from your business? What do you want from your life? But oftentimes, Kevin, I mean, I work with people on themselves for 6, 9, 12 months before we even talk business.
Let me be clear about this right quick, Clifton. Yeah. Let me just let the listener know what we're talking about here. Yeah. We're talking about fucking multi-millionaires here and how to get to that level. If that's where you want to grow, whatever you've got now, I don't care if you're only making $20,000 a year, which I was just not long ago. Mm-hmm. So if you're wanting to get to that level, this is the conversation you need to hear. Go ahead, sir, please.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, it's like, look around. Who are the people that you look up to? Who are the people that you want to emulate? Right? Look at them. And if you truly audit them and you're then honest with yourself, those people are going to share some similar characteristics. They're going to be driven. They have healthy habits. They live by a championship day, and they get in action. They move their body. A body in action, or a body in action stays in action, right? And so if that's what you want, you're going to have to do some of those things to get there. Here's the problem though, Kevin. Too many people say they want that, but yet their actions say, nah, I just want to talk about getting that. Right? Again, it starts with a decision. A decision, then a commitment. I'm always amazed at how many people just let themselves down because they just can't commit. Right? Make a decision to be better. And again, like, you don't have to all of a sudden wait. I mean, I get up at 4:17 every day, man. Right? Some people are like, fuck that. I ain't getting up at 4:17. Cool. That's fine. But guess what? My why tells me that I got to get up at 4:17. The reason being is because I like to take my children to school every day. I don't have any appointments before 9 o'clock. I like to take my children to school every day. Guess what? I like to spend dinner with them every night. I like to take them fishing at night. I like to do other things with them at night. So I choose, and I've committed to getting up at 4:17. But also 4:17 is, 2 Timothy 4:17, but the Lord stood with me and gave me strength. And so I have to make that decision to get up every day so that I can pray. I can, do some social media in the morning. I can express gratitude. I can journal. I can go work out. Right? But I'm not suggesting that your listeners or anybody out there, frankly, has to implement all of this at once, because if you do, you're going to fail. I'm going to let you know. If you try to start getting up at 4:17 and journal and pray and express gratitude and recite your core values and mission and all that, you're going to fail. You're going to get frustrated. Your mindset's going to become negative and you're going to quit. So just add one little healthy habit to your routine. Do it for 30 days. Add another one. Do it for 30 days. James Clear talks about habit stacking. If you haven't read the book Atomic Habits, go get it. Right? And so, you know, I can't stress enough to just look around, see those people that are crushing it. I'm not talking about the people that go rent Lambos and shit and take pictures on Friday and Saturday night. I'm not talking about any of that. I'm talking about people that are truly crushing it. And I want to make sure, and truly successful. And I want to make this distinction. Success does not mean money. I thought that's what success meant, was having money. I have some money. I could do whatever the hell I want to, whenever, with whomever, all of that. That's not what success means. Success means how many people you can positively impact. How do you feel inside? I went from living with a hole, having money with a hole, HOLE, by serving God, serving others, being a witness to others, impacting the world, being a bright light, sharing positivity and energy and joy, to now I'm whole, WHOLE, and I'm rich as fuck.
I can't imagine, man, as hard as it is to be financially successful. Can't imagine getting there to that level and not feeling happy with yourself after you got there, man. So, you know, if you don't get it straight before you get to that money, whatever you're after there, when you get there, you're going to have a hole in yourself. Cause I've done that to a small degree. I think I caught it pretty early, man, but I was headed in that direction.
You're exactly right. You're like, hey, I'm going to go chase that. And then when you get there, guess what? You're like, damn, I ain't as cool as I thought.
Just numbers, dude. And that's all it is.
Exactly.
You look up and you're like, wait a minute, my whole life revolves around these numbers, and you feel empty. You don't have nothing.
Yes. If you think about this, back it up for just a moment, we talked about it earlier, like everybody's going to die, start and finish, right? Think about your obituary. What are people going to say about you? They're going to say, oh man, that dude had a ton of money. I mean, no, I'm not interested in that. That dude impacted millions of people around the world. That guy was an amazing father. He was an amazing husband. He was an amazing, friend, servant. I want people fighting over to carry my casket.
Not coincidentally, if you start throwing amazing value to the right people, you ain't got no money problems, bro.
Yeah. And I know, man, we talk often about, giver's gain. I'm going to tell you, man, you want success, you help enough people get successful. And again, like you just said, you add value to enough people, you won't have any problems with money. And in fact, every single person on this call who watches this, who's live, whatever, every person you meet for the next 10 days, ask them this question. Hey, is there anything I can do to add any value to your life? Is there anything I can do to be a blessing in your life? Commit to that. Guarantee, 100% guarantee, and that's, you don't 100% guarantee, I can 100% guarantee that will change your life.
To add to that, I would say, couldn't be more right, but I would say this: for that formula to work, it's got to be people that are on a same path and have that same value system that you do. Because what happens is people do that and they just go out blindly, and then they end up unfulfilled and they quit and they give up on it.
Yes, you got yes. You got to be, you got to be with the right association, the right people, get around the right people. I'm gonna tell you this, man. Imposter syndrome is a real thing, right? A lot of people just starting out or even successful. Hell, I even get it sometimes. I get in these rooms and I'm like, shit. But then I remind myself, I'm in this room for a reason. God put me in this reason at this moment for a reason. Now I'm going to capitalize. Right? But it goes back to the association, finding those people that you want to be like, but also, to your point, Kevin, shares the same value system. Because if there's no value alignment, it's never going to work, man. And you can tell that really early on after you meeting someone pretty soon, you know, if you kind of feel uneasy, I don't really know, I got some questions about that, there's probably a misalignment. So just be careful.
You know, in every single part, and this is what I'm about to share is what was a game changer for me as a person. Because, you know, a couple of years ago, man, you remember, man, we used to talk on these calls and so forth, and just, man, I used to really struggle with that imposter syndrome and confidence issues and all that stuff, man, and still do, but not to not to the degree I used to. What was the game changer? And I'm fixing to really give them the gold here. Is when I recognized that every single person out there, I don't care who you bring up, I don't care. It does not matter what level of influence they are. It does not matter what level of success they are. It does not matter. Everybody is trying to solve a problem and has something that they're trying to do. Now, I use the word agenda when I say that. Agenda can be put in a negative light. No, that's not how I'm using it. I'm using it, we have a positive goal, an agenda, we're trying to accomplish something. When I walk into a room and I say, hey, Clifton, and I'm watching you and I'm talking with you, what I'm always trying to figure out is, what is this man's goal? What is his agenda in life? What is he trying to accomplish? And how can I help him get there?
Yes.
And that creates relationships, because I'm going to help you get there. And then we're going to be friends. And then, man, relationships, Brad Lee talks about this all the time. And I used to didn't know what he was talking about when he used to talk about that. Relationships are the key to all of it.
Absolutely, Kevin. I mean, hell, I built a company with $0 ad budget, marketing budget. I built it to a 62% repeat and referral business. Why? Because of relationships. Here's also the thing that I want everybody, the listeners watching, whoever's on this, to really understand it. Sometimes it's hard to really grasp this because it's, you know, like, there's no way. People that are successful love to help other people, so long as those other people, when asking for advice and counsel and mentorship, actually do something with the information that they've been given. I love to help people, man. I've given away a ton of free stuff. People are like, man, you give away a lot of stuff. Yeah, cool. Guess what? It's going to come back. And if that person is successful, that's part of my mission. I'm serving others. I'm helping other people get better. And so that's the thing I want everybody to kind of realize, is that you look at some of these super, super successful people and you're like, damn, I just no way I can even talk to that guy, or that guy probably would love to help you. Absolutely would love to help you. You just got to be willing to ask.
Also a way, if you can, I mean, absolutely. And there's also a way that you can help that person back if you're willing to key in on it and listen. Because that's the thing for me with imposter syndrome is that I figured out about it, is when I approach every single situation, no matter where it is, no matter what room I walk into, no matter what they're doing in that room, everybody in there is there for a reason. They're trying to accomplish something. What are they trying to accomplish? And when I figure that out, now I've got the keys to the kingdom on solving a problem for that person. And it may include me having a high ticket on that, because if it's a big problem, then there's a big, value trade there.
Exactly. No, you're exactly right. Hey, now some people go to networking events with an agenda. That's not something you want to be a part of. That's okay. Some people go to networking events. I mean, let's be honest, man. Some people go to network events just to get hammered and get away from their spouses and families and all that kinds of crazy shit. It happens. I've seen it way too many times. I've been to more conferences than I can count. Stay away from those people. You'll know right up front. Hey, yeah, I don't really jive with that guy. Cool, man. It's great meeting you, man. If I can help you anyway, let me know. Then you just roll out. That's not the people you want to be hanging out with. It's the people that are asking growth questions. Hey man, listen, I got this problem in my business, ask them, hey man, what kind of business are you in? Are you currently facing any issues right now? And if they say no, they're lying. Right? And if they give you that kind of freaky look, like, hey man, I'm just curious. We just met. I understand it's a question, I just asked you right up front, but I might have an answer for you. If I don't have an answer, I might know somebody that might can help you. But I will tell you that, like you said, everybody is facing something. Everybody has an agenda. Just make sure that their agenda aligns with your agenda. And if you can do a value exchange, establish a relationship, and relationships lead to some really cool stuff.
It's the key to the kingdom.
Yeah.
Kingdom. Man, I wanted to ask you about something that I've been kind of a light's come on for me about, man. And I realize this. I think it comes from confidence. I referenced a couple of years ago when we met and kind of where we, you're way further along than I am in business. You've just been doing it for a while, man, and I'm new to it. So for me, man, I was curious on information and I'll give you a case in point example. You shared with me on a call one night about if I wanted to coach somebody on how to build a credit repair business, to offer them a money back guarantee. And then you said to help them maybe get clients. I didn't understand that concept at the time behind that, because I just wasn't far enough along mentally yet, confidence and so forth. And that's the example I'm using because that was powerful information that I just didn't know what to do with. Well, now when somebody gives me a piece of information, man, I can take it and run with it. I know what to do with that information at this point in life. And there's a switch that flipped, and I think it has to do with confidence. But what I'm curious about with you, just as a man, as a person, I'm just interested in that. Did you ever make that realization in your journey somewhere that where you figured out like, oh, I know what to do with information? Was that ever a cognizant thing for you?
So actually, Kevin, I think for me personally, it was getting that letter from my son and just going through again, I'm not going to bore everybody with the details, but like, I just lived a life of just complete self-sabotage. And man, one of the hardest things for me to really understand and appreciate was that for so long, I was being successful, but I kept killing myself mentally because I didn't believe that I deserved it. Right? Because I had done all of this other just crazy shit in my life. But it wasn't until somebody said to me, you know what, Clifton? That's in the past, man. You got to let go of that shit. Because it's not serving you well. And I'm thinking, okay. And at that moment, it's like, hey, listen, God allowed all of that stuff in my past to happen so that I could learn a lesson, grow from it, become more faithful, trusting, and then I could go out and I don't live in the past anymore. You've probably heard me say it. I've definitely, if not, I'll say it here, but your past is a place of reference, not a place of residence. Right. So it wasn't necessarily this light bulb moment for me where information came. It was really, I made a conscious decision. I want something better for my life. What are the things that I need to do to have a better life? And what a better life looks like is what I wrote down as, what do my ideal relationships look like? What does my ideal career look like? What does my ideal life look like? And so then I wrote that, had a map, and then I just went after that.
Why do people, and let's talk about clients for a minute, because that's what you've got a lot of experience dealing with clients, high profile clients, or I'll say high profile, successful financial clients.
Sure.
Why do we have trouble writing down that sort of thing?
Because I believe a lot of it comes back to like, a lot of people aren't willing to be honest with themselves. Right. And a lot of people know all the bullshit baggage they're carrying around. Like if they write down, hey, I want to buy a catamaran and go live in the Caribbean with the four most special people in my life, my wife, Marianne, my son, Chase, my son, Cody, my daughter, Cameron, which by the way, I wrote that down. A lot of people don't want to write that stuff down because they're like, nah, man, I don't deserve that. Okay, I want to have a net worth of this, or I want to do this. I can't do that. So they don't really trust themselves. Right. But here's what I know. Here's the power of writing things down. And a lot of high profile, or a lot of, successful people, high energy people, high achievers. A lot of us, struggle with ADD, ADHD, all kinds of D's and H's and all kinds of shit. Right. Let's call it focus. Right. What I've learned and what I know to be true is that if you can think something, and then you can write something, and then you can see something, you can focus on it and retain it. Do you see all this stuff back here on this whiteboard? Those are the goals that I wrote down for myself going into 2023. Personal, financial, relationships, health, and fitness. Guess what I do when I get into my office in the mornings? Look at every single one of those. I say them out loud. And so again, because what you focus on, you get more of. You focus on negativity, you're going to have negativity in your life. Focus on positivity, you're going to have positivity in your life. If you focus on this stuff back here, or whatever's important to you, you make different decisions. And so I really believe that people fail to write stuff down because they're not willing to be honest with themselves. Man, I have hard conversations with myself. I talk to myself. People walk by my office out here, they're probably like, what the hell is wrong with this dude in here? Guess what?
Man,
Here's
my wife hears me talking to myself all the time, dude.
Yeah. Guess what, Kevin? I own this building. I bought this building. Not a single one of these tenants in here who rent from me, I ain't got to prove a fucking thing to them. In fact, they pay me a rent check every month. So whether they think I'm crazy or not, doesn't matter. So, but I believe that people don't write down stuff because they're afraid of having that hard conversation, or they write something down and they're like, nah, I can't do that. I don't deserve that. I say bullshit.
It's a non-belief in yourself that you can commit to, or it forces you to have to commit. Because if you put that on paper, then that's an integrity thing.
Absolutely. I wrote this down, Kevin. So just real quick, this is, I want, right? It talks about all the stuff I want in my relationships, health and fitness, personal finances, business, all of this stuff. I wrote all this down. It's a 3-page document. Last page, it's got my signature and a date. You want to hold yourself accountable? Make a contract with yourself. Because guess what? People don't want to break contracts. And there's something powerful when you sign your name, your signature. That's my accountability right there. Not only that, I got the picture of my family right here. That's my why. So I got it all. If I make this decision today, are they going to be happy? If I make this decision and all hell breaks loose, how are they going to think about me? Right. So, but I believe that's probably the biggest reason why people don't write stuff down. They're afraid to.
Man, this has been awesome as always, man. I always learn a ton, man. Always, man. It's always a breath of fresh air, man. I get to have a conversation with you. Tell everybody real quick where we can find you on social media.
Yeah, absolutely. So on Facebook, first of all, yeah, Kevin, I love these conversations. I appreciate what you're doing as well to continue to add value, not only to Apex, but to the marketplace and to communities and generally just to the world. So thank you for that. I appreciate the invitation to come on and share. But on social media, Facebook at Clifton Muckenfuss, Instagram, Boats and Bourbon. You can also find me over at LinkedIn. And you know, one of the things that I would also encourage anybody that's watching this, you know, go right now. I'm not going to, this is not a sales funnel. This is, I'm not interested in selling you anything. But if you go to adailydoseofmotivation.com, sign up, and Monday through Friday, I'll send you a motivational text message and an email, and it might just be exactly what you need to get your day started. It might, I mean, I
Get those every day from you, brother. I love them too.
So there you go. So that would be, you know, follow me on social media. That's great. Engage with my content, share the content. If you have any questions or I can add any value to your life or be a blessing, reach out there. But go to A Daily Dose of Motivation, get your head right, get your mind right in the mornings, and then go be an impact in those lives of the people you encounter.
It comes about 7:30 a.m. Central Time.
Yes, sir. So I appreciate you being part of that community as well, Kevin.
I appreciate you, man. And thank you, brother. Appreciate you taking time. It's always a pleasure, man. Appreciate you guys for listening. We're always glad to have you every Wednesday. It's always a lot of fun. So take action on what you hear and keep growing. We'll see y'all next Wednesday. Bye.